All right, let's talk about the discussion board post for the proposal. By now you should have read through the instructions. The objective is that you need to prepare a proposal to seek funds. You should have picked one of the options 1, 2, or 3. You should have read the lecture notes, listened to the video, looked at the PowerPoint presentation. You should have assigned task and deadline dates. You need to know who your audience is and what the purpose of the proposal is going to be. What is your main goal? Who will benefit and who are the approvers? So once you have all that figured out and you've discussed it with your team, now you have to start brainstorming. This is what needs to be in the proposal. Each team member needs to pick a choice, or you can divide it up. Some people can have more than one, depends on how many people are in your group. But all of you should get together and decide how to break this up. If 2 or more of you needs to jump in there and get it done, then that's fine. I need to know the project and the description of it. So talk about, under number 1, what one you picked, what option you picked, and what it is. Then in number 2, write a summary. What is your company? What do they do? How does this work with what your proposal plans are? Everything that I would need to know that you have come up with needs to be in 1 and 2. Then in number 3, the methodology of what's going to happen. How are you going to get this going? Who's going to be responsible for what? What is this project? Really start looking at it, start setting up ideas on how you're going to get this completed and what really needs to happen to make office space that was currently maybe storage become a science lab. It takes some thought, it takes some ideas. This is everything I need to see needs to be in number 3. Number 4, plan risk. All right, what makes this stand above everything else? If you can't use this office storage space to create a new lab, how will it negatively impact your company and what they're trying to do? Why does this need to be such an important thing that you need to work with and you need to get going? So that is plan risk management. If it doesn't go through, this is the impact it's going to have. It should be a negative impact because it should be a positive thing that you're trying to implement within your company. And then write a short conclusion. This, the next steps we're going to do. This is the research we're going to start working on. Whatever idea it is, this is the brainstorming part of this project. I need to see all of that so I can understand what you're trying to do. Because if I can see how you are thinking about writing up this proposal, it helps me ask you the right questions to get you thinking along the correct lines of how stuff comes together and how it works out in the corporate world, or actually anywhere that you might need to write a proposal. Not just corporate, but at academic and federal positions. Everywhere you're going to probably ask for money because there's something you're going to need at one point. So inside the discussion board, what I want you to do is I want you to pick out what group roles you have according to Belbin's team roles. You'll need to have, obviously, I went through this in the other video, the coordinator, implementer, monitor, evaluator. Everybody's going to be a team worker. Tell me what those roles are. Then assign tasks, steps 1 through 4. I need to know exactly who's going to be working on them. Again, it could be more than one person. Then I need you to create a proposal timeline. I need you to pick dates. What I've told students before is work backwards. Find out on the calendar when the final proposal is due. Put that date down. Then step back a couple days for the team review. You need to give the monitor evaluator a couple days, a little bit of time to review what has been posted. If they aren't the ones that created the template to start with, which they really shouldn't be, then give the team time to go in there and make revisions before the final deadline comes up. Then move back even further to the start filling out the template, step 6. You need to give everybody on your team plenty of time to start researching their sections of the proposal. And yes, you will have to research stuff, and it will be real-time material and cost and stuff that you're using for this. Somebody needs to go measure out an office space or a room, a large room. That needs to be measured because there's going to be a layout that needs to be done. You have to give ample amount of time to get all this up and running. And then move it even further than that. I would say anytime between now and Sunday, somebody in your group should pick a proposal template. Doesn't matter where you find it at. I have posted examples. I also suggest going into the internet and finding a template. Find one that you can manipulate, because templates are very tricky. The person that is good manipulating that should be the person that starts putting everything together. You can even tell me who that person is going to be. Now, again, doesn't have to necessarily be that coordinator role, the one who turns it in, but it does need to be somebody who is really good at working with templates and can work with those columns in the different spaces and stuff like that. So definitely put all those dates on there. And then the last line that I have on the discussion board post is, if you would go into this financial proposal section, and everywhere there's a star, that is absolutely something that needs to show up in your proposal. Start putting your team members' names by these stars so that I know who's going to be responsible for this part of it. The appendix obviously will be a group effort, but somebody has to be able to put in the budget worksheet, and somebody has to make sure that all the references get put in there for everything that you have researched, everything. And I would prefer it to be listed by team member, but you can divide it up by the task and put your stuff in there. Again, we'll go over this more as we get further along into the proposal, but this should get you started with the discussion board.